Hey, what's up guys? This is Astranox showcase of the Basar in PvP, and I got his review while I'm fighting actually. So let me just show you guys his stats, his gear, and the stats of the other heroes in the team I'm gonna be using. This is like an auto team. It's an auto team. At the table is the team I was using the most. There's another team I was using, this Basar, I use him as my combat units booster. He's got my best speed gear and he's got a decent amount of survivability as well. So I can use him in different scenarios and he's performing very well for me. Let me quickly talk about the Basar's skills. So skill number 3, that skill is insane, man. He does so much with it. He removes all debuffs from your whole team, grants immunity for 3 turns, and boosts combat units by 30%. This thing is a game changer. His passive allows him to heal with skill number 1 your whole team, and it is based on the target's max health as well as a portion of his attack. So it's mostly about the target's max health, to be honest. So you can skill this up to get more healing out of it, but top priority is this one. I would get like, yeah, maybe some healing increase here because it's just 1 mola for the 3 first enhancements, and then here you got the effect chance increased by 5%. It's only 1 mola twice, and then finally you would max this, and then you like get some here, max the healing increase, and then finally you get the last 5% effect chance here if you're going to be using him a lot. So this can actually stun, and it's actually very cool when it does happen. So but I wouldn't be building effectiveness on him. I would just try to land this on a damage dealer, so because they don't have much effect resistance. And this, when you soul burn, it attacks everyone, so you can potentially stun more than 1 target, and then it also increases the amount of healing that he does for the whole team. Very strong memory imprint, health for the rest of the team, so that's very cool if you can keep him in play and he doesn't get sniped. And then the self memory imprint is effect, resistance increase. In terms of gearing this hero, I went for pure speed. My best speed gear is on him, and I also have a decent amount of survivability. If you stack multiple layers of protection in your team, you're gonna be doing very well for yourself, because the more stuff you use part of his kit, the better, well, you're using this hero. And that's what you need to aim for. You need to use multiple things in his kit. And if you need to squeeze that extra bit of survivability increase, then you could go with Proof of Valor. You could go with Water's Origin. You could be wearing Touch of Rico's to get some healing for your team. You could have Celestine. I definitely like this artifact when there's a few dark heroes on the enemy team, especially Remnant and Valet, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Fallen Cecilia, man, she does so much for you because, well, you got the Aureus, but really like a knight in the team with Aureus is a big deal already. So I've been autoing the teams that I've been facing for the most part. This team is very capable of doing that, and I have Fallen Cecilia on a bruiser build, quickly showing you guys her gear. But any knight with Aureus will bring that extra layer of protection. If you can have Adventure Rast with the defense buff, you can have, I don't really like Crow because I already have, it's gonna be like a 3rd ice hero on the team, and I want to split the damage taken. I want to bait different elements, and it's much easier to sustain a team when it's like that. So yes, Fallen Cecilia max skilled up, and then her self memory imprint, very cool to boost her survivability. And the next hero is, well, Seaside Bellona, the big damage dealer. You can pop most arena defenses. If they don't have a Rowana on their defense, it's easy peasy. Like, you just bring her in there with some decent amount of health. Bruiser setup, you can have her on the effectiveness increase. I like to increase the health of top and front position. And I mean, you don't have to build speed on her, but I still have her on a speed set. And it's about just having like 15,000 health and just pumping that attack. And if you can get like really good gear and you can get that crit chance to 100% and some crit damage, then go for it. If not, well, it's about getting the attack with a ring or special drink to deal that extra damage attack from her skill 2 and her skill 3. It's just an insane hero, and just makes, you know, arena offense very simple against tanky teams. And the other hero I want to show is DN. DN provides the attack buff for the whole team, while Seaside, when she has attack buff, even on a bruiser build, she's gonna perform extremely well. So my DN, she's got decent you know, survivability, some okay health, some pretty good defense, and it's about really like having enough survivability and just having a bunch of speed on her. But also, like, you could be building your heroes with high effect resistance. And during the battle, I do talk about you know, different builds for Desert Jewel Bazaar and what I've tried in the past. So finally, one of the battle that I do is with Desert Jewel Bazaar as my combatness booster. So I use Sinful Angelica in there to provide the attack buff and the speed buff, and I have my green Sid, which goes after my Briar Witch Isaria, and that's one of my most used team when I'm going for pure speed, and I use the speed memory imprint of my Sid to help Desert Jewel Bazaar to go first. And it works out well. When I want to pop like a really tanky team that doesn't have Rwana, I use that auto team. So yeah, let me just show you how everything performs, and I'm gonna be reviewing Desert Jewel Bazaar as the battle drags on, and you can get some action, some footage at the same time as I'm playing it. Let's see, can we auto this team here? We got Dizzy. If she's on Illa's Violence, she will be removing our immunity. But now I have DJ Bazaar on Proof of Valor. So that's another layer of protection on top of the damage sharing effect of Aureus, which is maxed out on Fallen Cecilia. Like, all that stuff will allow him to tank Remnant Valet. Let's see how effective it is. I feel like it's going to be pretty solid. We do have the anti-crit buff from DN as well. So I feel pretty confident that we'll pull through on this battle. And this team seems to, you know, they seem to like cripple and sort of like they're able to take like a cleave early on. Like, they're about the early turns from what I'm seeing with this group composition right there. So if we manage to pull through, I feel like we'll do really good. As long as the battle drags on, we'll be in a better position. So they won't be able to sustain with just Rule of Light. That's definitely a big strength of Seaside Bellona. And let's see the damage here of Remnant. Is that a crit? It is not, and he barely scratched him. The barrier you can see from Fallen is helping quite a bit. So I'm just gonna auto it. I mean, if he's triggering Massacre, who cares? You can see here the Massacre straight on Bazaar, and is that a crit? It was not, and still the Proof of Valor is losing strength, so there is that to well, worry a bit about. It's not a major issue, but you can see that this team is just getting grinded down because they don't have Rwanda to counter Seaside. And with our sustain, the healing, the green numbers, the barriers, yeah, it's just too much. It is just too much. And now you can see like those stuns right there from Dizzy, which seems to be on Abyssal Crown, because that must be some crazy luck if it just triggered from skill number 1. And now we're back at it again with the immunity. He's so fast that he can keep that immunity on the rest of the team very consistently. He has a high uptime on it, and that's great, man. That is definitely great. So if you are fortunate enough to have a lot of speed gear and you also are able to have nice main stat, then like even flat health will do fine. Flat defense, like, it's not that great on him. Flat health is better. You could go with defense percentage on his neck or ring. I would go with I mean, I prefer to have health percentage on both, or flat health, either or both. I think flat health, if you have health percentage in the substat, will be better, but it's hard to have that when you're going for maximum speed on a hero like Desert Jewel Bazaar. But you don't need the max speed on him. You could have that on a different hero, like let's say 3-star Fire Thief Judith if you want maximum speed. But Desert Jewel Bazaar, if you have him very fast and he has some decent survivability, then he can do a lot for your team. You can use him as a combat genius booster as well. Now, using Desert Jewel Bazaar as a combat genius booster without having to rely on immunity set on the rest of your team is a big deal. You know, you can get more stats because you're wearing like a 2-piece crit set, and that's good. And the small amount of healing he's going to be doing on top of providing the immunity is actually pretty nice when you're trying to like take out the enemy team. That bit of sustain actually plays a big part in keeping the team alive for a bit longer, so you can, you know, take care of, you know, clean up basically. So here, I'm not too confident I can take out Fallen Cecilia. I mean, not Fallen Cecilia, Falconer Clory. So, but I kind of want to try it. It's just that if I fail to do that, then I'm done. Because Arbiter. Arbiter is going to go, even though he has attack break. Wow. I'm glad I used skill 3. Because if I didn't, he would have survived. Wow. Okay, nice to attack. That was so random though. That was super random. Just Sinful Angelica just going in there and just, you know, swinging her staff. Perfect. I think he's gonna survive here. Never mind. He doesn't. Okay. Now, let me take out Fallen. I'll work on him. Of course, evade. Let's see here. Nice. Yeah, we got the defense break. He goes. That's okay. The attack break allowed us to. He's definitely evading this, but it's like pure damage will still take him out. So it's all good. CR push with Desert Jewel Bazaar. Healing, well, didn't really happen in this. And this hero, I mean, he even has the memory imprint of health percentage for the other heroes in the team, and that's really cool too. For his self memory imprint, the effect resistance, yes, that would be why you would lean toward going for high effect resistance on himself, and you could go with a slower build. So if you're going for high effect resistance, don't go for maximum speed, because the whole point is to go after like you know, a Bazaar, go after a Benevolent Roman, whoever it may be. You want to be able to resist their debuffs, cleanse all the debuffs off your team, and apply immunity. That's going to be very important, and you need to make sure that those debuffs are not landing on him. So you need to have a high amount of effect resistance on your DJ Bazaar, but you will be able to have a higher amount of you know, survivability. You'll have higher health and defense, and you will be able to take a lot more damage. So if you have multiple layers of protection with all that, and I would be running him in a bruiser team composition, because he is healing based on the allies max health, so you'll get a lot more value out of his healing. And the whole point is that like you're not going first, you're going like you're building a turn 2 team, and you're gonna fully use his sustain to drag the battle and just start to pick the enemy team apart. And that is going to be his strength when you're going to build him with high effect resistance and higher survivability. Don't go first, it's a turn 2 team, and you can do it. You can definitely do it. Like in my case, wow, Seaside took a lot of damage. Thankfully, Fallen Cecilia baiting the Tempest Siren's attack allowed us to keep this the Seaside in play, and that was pretty big. So also, like when it comes down to arena, like you need to bait elements, and that's how you're gonna stay in play for longer. If you can split the damage of the enemy team, then it's gonna be way more successful, much safer than if like you're. But we're kind of like doubling up on the ice element here, but still, since we have dark and light, it's good that you know, the Moonlight heroes are splitting their attack between Fallen Cecilia and the Sergio Basar, which is in turn increasing the survivability of those heroes, and it's much easier to stabilize, much easier to heal the team, especially when you have a heal like the Sergio Basar heals the whole team. Fallen Cecilia, I mean, applies the barrier to the lowest health threshold hero on the team, and then she heals well, the lowest HP hero on the team with the Rod of Merulus, but the berry is team-wide, so you have a lot of stuff that is team-wide, and that's why, like, splitting elements, having different elements, baiting different enemy team's elements is much easier to sustain, so you don't get, you know, your key hero bursted down because you got unlucky, or I mean, it's just because they're throwing everything at that hero. Because let's say you go with ice against double earth damage dealers, that ice is gonna get murdered. It's just gonna not be good enough. You're not gonna be able to sustain that, and that's definitely a problem. So yeah, multiple elements baiting, splitting the damage coming your way facilitates the whole thing. I felt like when I was running the Sergio Basar on a high effect resistance build, I felt like he couldn't shine properly. And if you don't bring that effect resistance high enough, you could have a Basar, a mage with high, you know, effectiveness land their stun because of Abyssal Crown. That's also a massive problem. So when you're stacking that effect resistance, you are sacrificing a lot of other stats. I mean, you have to commit, and that means you're going with a main stat, effect resistance ring, and you might be going with a two-piece, you know, resist set as well on top of speed. I mean, I don't know, you might be going on triple resist sets. So you are sacrificing a lot of other stats, health, defense, you're sacrificing speed. And all those stats allow Basar to not get bursted down. You know, if you can increase his survivability, that is a big thing on this hero, because he is lacking massively. His health is Tamarine level health. And you guys know about Tamarine, it's low 4,000 health. And that means that's why flat health actually works on that hero. And that's cool, because you know, those pieces are not hard to position. Like, you can't just wear that on any hero. You can put that like on a Tamarine, maybe a hero you use in PvE. But then there's Sergio Basar, which you can fit those pieces on him, and he's gonna fully use that flat health. Especially if you got health percentage in the substat as well, you're gonna get a lot of survivability increase on your DJ Basar because of that. But I feel like so far, from what I've tried, I prefer maximum speed and survivability on him. Number one priority is speed, but it's definitely very hard to gear. Very hard to gear him, because it's like I said, getting max speed and still having a nice amount of health and defense is definitely hard to pull off. But when you are stacking effect resistance, what you can do is that you can rely on defense much more. And the Sergio Basar has a nice amount of defense. You know, his base defense is nice. So you could go with, you could lean toward defense much more. So you could balance his health and defense, so you end up with a higher amount of effective health. So he's gonna be able to mitigate more damage, and that's gonna be great, unless you're fighting heroes that penetrate defense. So that could be an issue if you're fighting like Remnant Valet, and Sermia. Like, they're gonna deal a ton of damage against him. It's gonna be easier for them to nuke him. So you have to be careful, even with multiple layers of protection. Especially if you're stacking effect resistance and you're losing on a lot of other stats, then he could be, that could be a problem. He's not gonna be able to survive as well. But you can see here, his sustain was great, man. And that was a no worry battle. I believe Seaside actually went down by, like, she was pretty low at one point. I'm not sure if it was a you know, greater attack buff on Tempest Siren, that could have been it. But yeah, that team's been working out just fine. It's definitely hard to pull off, but you could have another knight replacing Fall and Cecilia. I mean, you could definitely just bring Adventure Raz. You got defense buff, and that will boost your survivability by a lot. You have the dual attack, defense break. You got, you know, the dispelling on skill 1. He can heal himself with skill 3. So that's pretty good, and he's gonna be able to bait ice heroes. I would say that Adventure Raz is definitely a good contender. You could have Crow, which might speed things up, but the issue is you are tripling up on ice, and I don't like that. So I would go with a knight of another element. Man, it's so simple. Turn on auto with Seaside. Have enough sustain and a few layers of protection, and you'll just pull through. So Remnant on Moonlight Dreamblade, of course, very popular. And it's just crazy how powerful SSB is. If they don't put Rowana on their defense, it's like SSB. Again, SSB this defense. Like, even if there's ML Crow, it's not enough. You guys have seen it. His barriers are just not enough to keep the team alive. Even with a tanky Seaside, especially with maxed out Ring or Special Drink. When you have Seaside, even if she's Bruiser, as long as she's got attack buff, you are good to go. And Dian's great here. She's doing a lot. It's definitely a team. It's team synergy. It's not about Desergil Basar by himself. The whole team is bringing something to the table, and it's you build teams, man. It's not, you don't build heroes, you build teams, and it's a team showcase, really. But it shows you guys the strength of Desergil Basar. On top of, you know, the other heroes and how good the synergy is between all these heroes. So of course, the immunity, we're not putting it to the greatest of use. Yes, there is the provoke from Fall and Cecilia, but imagine you have him, because, I mean, it would be more in World Arena. Like, in Arena now, I can't make him shine that much. Like, let's say a Dizzy, right? She's on Abyssal Crown, you got the immunity up, you are good to go. But if she's on Illos Violent, that could be a different story if she starts to remove your buffs. But yeah, I mean, if the enemy team has a lot of buffs, debuff heavy control team, then you have him, and that is major. Now he's taking a lot of damage. Proof of Valor is losing strength as the battle drags on. Oh my god, that Massacre, if it went on Basar, that could have been it for him. Yeah, you can see that Dian took quite a beating there. Their Remnant is well geared, and we're still able to sustain this. It's all good. We do have Provoke on Basar, so we can't apply immunity on our team. And now Kraus coming in with the second one, I believe, and 4,500. It's a lot of damage. It's definitely stacking up, and the fact that he's able to use that skill 3 often, because we're just throwing constant AoE attacks because of Seaside, that's an issue. This team has a much better survivability rate than some of the other teams I fought, and that is concerning. That is concerning. I don't know how this battle will end up like, but I feel like they are doing pretty well. We took out ML Crow, so that's very nice. Now, when they start going down, it's good, because Ruel can only bring one, and then if we get start getting more down, then it's much easier to sustain, and that's going to be the end real quick. And you can see the lightning damage, only 600. It's not even piling up that much, so that's great. I can say that yes, Fawn Cecilia is helping a lot. If you're using her like in the team like this on auto, the skill nullifiers yes, they can come in really handy, but when you're playing on manual, at least you can time it at the right moment. You see there's a massacre coming up. Thankfully, like, it was up here, so that was great. Massacre's coming up, just time it, trigger it, whatever. And it's definitely a very, very powerful buff. And it lasts forever. It lasts forever until it's triggered. You get a lot of more value with skill nullifier when the enemy team doesn't have any hero that does any AoE attack, so they can't pop those skill null. And if they're using single target damage here, like Remnant Vault, and you've got the Massacre hitting a random hero, then like you're definitely gonna get a lot of value out of those skill nullifiers, and it's definitely gonna increase your team survivability. It's definitely a slow one. This is definitely a slow one. I feel like that Proof of Valor definitely did come in real handy. Fallen, okay. But of course, if you feel confident in your Basar survivability, if you have defense buff, especially in your team, then by all means go with a different Soul Weaver artifact. You know, you could go with Idol's Cheer, you could go with Celestine. I definitely like Touch of Rikos. Let's see here, how much damage is he gonna take? Is he going down? Because that's, yeah, I mean, yeah, very good, man. Like he's still up. That's crazy. Now the cool thing is that Ruel is about to go down, and she's bringing someone else back up, and it is always Crow. It's Crow. Okay, hopefully we can get some sustain in. I don't want the whole team falling apart. Basar's low. Barrier's being applied now. Wow, we landed the attack here on Remnant. Very nice. And it's all good. We're able to stabilize before Crow can even use his skill 3 again. Which, I mean, he can't do anything. He can't do nothing. Yeah, it's an auto team that seems to be very successful so far. You just attack teams that don't have Rowana. I don't know. I've been dodging teams that have a combat genius booster, not combat genius booster, sorry, like a Basar or Benevolent Roman, because I don't have high effect resistance on my DJ Basar, so if they're going first, it's just gonna throw the whole plan out the window, and if my Basar gets stunned, then that's the end. You know, they're gonna cripple us, and then it's not gonna go well for us. So that's an issue. That is an issue. So let's see the sustain from that battle. I'm actually curious because that was very long. Wow, Basar did very well, very well. And even Fallen Cecilia, like, I'm just surprised by how much she brings to the table in terms of, like, those barriers are crazy, man. They're crazy because a lot of time you see Fallen has a lot of sustain in the battle results is because the initial barrier on the whole team, but when the battle drags on and she's doing pretty good throughout the whole battle, you can see that those barriers are helping a ton. And when you have a barrier being applied on a hero with a high amount of defense or a decent amount, and they are mitigating quite a bit of damage, like Desergio Basar with Proof of Valor, you can see those barriers are definitely helping a ton. Let us know what you guys think about Desergio Basar in the comment section. Do you have him? Have you built him? How has he performed? What kind of team were you running with him? Where were you bringing him? You know, Arena, Guild Wars, World Arena. I've been bringing him everywhere, and I want to showcase him more in other areas of the game in PvP. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Press the bell icon if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, and check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. Go under my channel, under playlist. I have a lot of videos, man, all sorted out. A lot of knowledge to be had. Check my second YouTube channel, Astranox Gameplay, for more Epic 7 gameplay videos. Join Discord, the link is in the description. Over 2,000 members. But that's it for this one. Good luck with all you do. I'm Astranox. Peace out for now.